Have you been thinking about it?
In my head, I've journaled my life, and some days I kind of want to write a book about life in Suriname. So I have thoughts, I know what I want to talk about when it comes to like, I guess my life. But it's been a journey. Like even me living in the United States right now, it's insane, right? Like some days I still wake up and it's like I can't believe I'm here. I'm like,
Really? Is that a
I'm
good thing
act.
or a bad thing?
It's
It's
I have. You know what survivor's guilt is, right?
I
Like
think
I'm
so.
I feel guilty every single day that my life is as good as it is when I think about family back home.
Is it because they're suffering?
Yeah, yeah. It's like there's a lot of things that I don't have answers for. And I know that me being here is basically it's not an accident. I fell in love with an amazing person and from the get-go, she was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna stay in Suriname for the rest of my life, so you're gonna have to figure out if you want to leave Suriname." And to be fair, I didn't ever think that I would be able to function in the United States because I was a lazy, not motivated person back home, right? Like I've always been motivated in sports, but I never had like long-term vision of like, I want to be a successful whatever businessman or entrepreneur, whatever. I've never had those thoughts. In America, it's like go, 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 go. And up until I was like 31, I wasn't even thinking about like what value do I kind of want to bring to my family? Like what man do I want to be? What human being do I want to be? I've always kind of had like a good moral compass,
Mm.
if that makes sense. But I never thought that I would be on the path that I'm on right now, which I have no idea where the switch flipped somewhere in my 30s. And I was like, okay, like I cannot just live life and pursue my cravings and the things that I desire, like women and all of those things, right? Like something I have to be better. If that makes, I have to be there. In every generation, there has to be one person that it doesn't have to be one person, but like at least one person that changed the ties for his family. Like in every family that's successful, powerful, there's just one crazy person that took a chance somewhere and then just changed you know,
Yeah.
the lives of like a whole generation. And I was like, you know what? My family has gone through a lot. I'm not gonna be the one that just keeps living the way that everybody else did. Like I'm gonna try and build something. So yeah, some days I just think and I was like, man, like, I feel guilty. Like
But it's not
some
your fault.
yeah, I know but it's rough, right? Like I don't know. I don't know why I feel guilty. I feel guilty like almost every day. Like there's a lot of things that I don't speak about. Like I post a lot, like and I post my thoughts a lot on Facebook.
It's like you're posting all the good stuff,
Yeah,
not the
right.
dark
Because
stuff.
I have a lot of dark thoughts, and I was telling my wife the other day, and it's not something I talk about often, but like even as a kid, I was a very scared kid. Like I am like anxiety,
Hmm.
right? Like I have severe anxiety, and I'm scared a lot, and I didn't ever want to stand up and fight. Like I don't want that because I'm scared. And some days, like even as a child, like I would lay in bed and I would just not want to exist anymore, right? Like I
As
would
a
just,
child.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like as a kid,
Okay.
again as a young adult, I would just not want to be on Earth. I just don't want to be around all of this negativity and the pain and the suffering. Like my mom not being there, and then going to school and having um ouderochtend, what's it called again? Like
Parents' evening.
yeah, and then like nobody showing up for me. Then I
Really?
have my sister had to like show up for me, and my sister is like 16 years old or whatever, right? Like 17 years old, and
Oh,
then no,
understand.
Tante
Okay.
Peggy,
Okay.
right? Yeah, yeah, and then she kind of like moved away from home, and it was just me and Chantal, and then my mom not being there, and then my dad working all the time, so I was just like scared being at home at night, just me and my sister, because my dad had like the night shift, like
So this while we were in England.
I think you guys were at Sabaolo, I think.
Okay, so we're still just there.
Just in Suriname, yeah. But the
Mhm.
thing is, right, like, so I don't know if my family is gonna be mad at me talking about this, but life isn't perfect, right? Like every family goes through stuff, and every family has trauma, and every family has disappointments, and every family has like they have good things and they have bad things. Like the world maybe doesn't know. Like my mom and my dad, great people, amazing people, and me and my dad had a great relationship towards the end of his life. Me and my mom have an amazing relationship. I love my mom. Like I would do anything for her, and she would do anything for me. But my mom left when I was 3 years old because of circumstances. The relationship wasn't working. My dad had security, so she was like, because we had this conversation later in life. It's like, why did you leave? She's like, well, like life was just not working. I had nowhere to go. I didn't know where I was going to go, so I knew that if you stay with your dad, you had a home, you had a decent job, you would be clothed, fed, and you would have food, bed to sleep every night. So she basically tucked me in and woke up the next morning and she was gone. Yeah. So for the longest time I was like waiting for her to come home, and then by the time I was 6 7 years old I forgot who my mom was. Like I didn't know who my mom was. Tante Peggy was mama. Like my
You know?
sister, yeah, she was Mama Peggy. That's how I used to call her, Mama Peggy. And then my first day of school, I remember because I went to Johannes Vrolijk for pre-K and kindergarten, and I could see her. She went to Kaikusi, I think, and I could see her. No, it wasn't. I forgot what the school was, but I could see her in her classroom. And she brought me to school the first day, and this classroom had like cinder blocks that you could climb, so I climb up all the way to the ceiling, and I was yelling, I want my Mama Peggy, I want my Mama Peggy. I want my Mama Peggy, right? And then the teacher, she climbed up to come get me, put her hand on my shoulder, and I bit her. So they had to like they had to go get my sister, and it's like, hey, you need to come get your little brother. Or I don't know if they thought that she was my mom or whatever. It's like, you need to come get your son. Because he's biting people left and right.
Do you remember why you were upset?
I had separation anxiety. I still have, till this day, sometimes have separation anxiety. Like I just,
Because you were abandoned.
yeah. I'm scared. Sometimes, that. And also like not just that, there's, like with my son, there's a lot of different things that happen where I just constantly feel like people leaving me, if that makes sense. Which isn't true, it's just in my head.
Well, it was true
Um,
when you were a child.
yeah. So yeah, so I was just afraid. But like even as an adult, some days like I lay in bed and I just like I struggle with these thoughts. Like some days I don't want to be I don't want to be here. Um, but then I think like I have people that I can't let down. There's people that I love. There's people who I want to work for and be successful so that they don't have to work as hard as I did, my dad did. That makes if that makes sense, so that life could be easier for them. So yeah, but like through all of my teen years, like I've thought about if I'm gonna do it, how am I going to do it? Like I thought about what's the least painful way to go, if that makes sense. So, and I've worked through that, and obviously I don't have those desires anymore. But like every now and then it creeps up because like life's been pretty stressful, and some days you're just tired. Like you're tired of pushing, just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's like, man, like when is this gonna come to an end? Like I'm tired. But obviously my faith, in Christ as well, me being a Christian has helped me a lot to see that even in, religion, like Christ came and he had to die and he knew that he had to die so that people could be saved. And even him, he was like, praying to the Father, praying to God. And it's like, hey, if it's possible, can this cup just go past me? I don't want to drink of this cup, which he meant like, I don't want to do this. can you take this away from me if it's, you know, if possible.
Did he
So
ask? Did he ask God if he'd forsaken him at one point?
yeah. Even like, yeah, when he was playing, it's like, what, dad, what, like, father, why have you forsaken me, right? Like, and like he was like God's son. So like, even like my faith, like I know you have to go through stuff, and like even as a man, like you have to go through difficulties to build character. So,
Hmm.
and one question I always have is like, and I heard this beautiful quote, I think yesterday on Instagram. It was just
Yeah.
like,
Live, love, laugh.
no, it was the, so when you look at like characters like villains and
Hmm.
superheroes, they both have the same origin story. You know, this world has hurt me.
Hmm.
The villain goes, this world has hurt me. I'm gonna make them pay. The hero goes, this world has hurt me. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't happen to everybody ever again, or anybody ever again. Usually they have like the same origin story.
Hmm.
Like they're usually an orphan, their parents died, same
Yeah.
individuals, but they just have two different paths in life. Like one is like, you know what, this world sucks, this world hurt me, I'm gonna hurt everybody and make them pay. And the other one's like, the hero is like, no, you know, this world hurt me, I'm gonna make sure it doesn't happen to anybody, right? I'm gonna protect the world, I'm gonna protect the innocent people. And in my head, I always think like, what causes a person to go either left or right? Right? Like what causes a person? Because it could be the same scenario. Like I read another one on Facebook the other day, and it says like there were two guys sitting on a bench. One was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and the other one was a successful businessman. And they were brothers. And they asked both of them, like, why are you the way you are? And they both said, like, my dad was an alcoholic, a drug addict, and abusive. And they both had the same reason why they became who they became. But
Really.
I'm always curious about what causes a person to go, you know, like what causes one person to go like, hey, I want to do better
Hmm.
because of these circumstances, and the other person goes, you know, I can't anymore, I'm just giving up. I don't know. I think I'm fortunate enough to been steered to be motivated against all odds, if that makes sense, and wanting to do better. And I don't know.
You were talking about your family. You don't know if your family's gonna get upset or not.
Yeah.
Have you talked with your siblings about this?
Wait, about us doing this or just about how I
No,
feel?
about how things have gone in your childhood.
No, really. I think me and Chantal spoke a little bit sometimes
Because you were the
because we were,
closest in age.
yeah. I'm sure my sisters and my brothers have their own trauma, right?
Yeah.
Because life wasn't easy for them either. You know, they have their own. I feel like I got the easy. I got I You know, like I feel like if I was to talk about mine, it's like, oh, well, yeah, you cry baby. You should have been around when I was around, right? Like, so no, I think we probably should sit down and talk sometimes and see where they are and see how they feel about how life's turned out for them. You know, but no, I also feel like I'm the most vocal and out
Because
there
you're
on
the
Insta.
young yappy one. Like the young one's always the loud one.
Yeah, you know, but I will never I will never play the victim.
Hmm.
Maybe I did that in the past, I don't know, but you could wake up every day and make a decision and say like, nope, you know, like I'm going to do this despite the odds. You know, I'm going to do this despite how I grew up, despite my circumstances, I'm going to do this. So yeah, no, I've never talked to them about it, but it's probably maybe a conversation we should have sometimes.
I think
I
you
know my
should.
mom, yeah, I think my mom talked to me.
Yeah.
My mom asked me for forgiveness. Yeah, she was like, I'm sorry I left you. And, you know, can you forgive me? I just didn't know what to do. And I was like, no, you're good. As an adult, I understand now. You know, like, as an adult, I don't blame my parents for anything. Like, I don't blame them for anything. If anything, I could see that all that they did so that we could have a better life in their own way, even though we didn't really agree with how it went, or
Mm.
maybe we thought, like, you could have done a little bit. No, like, everything they did so that we could have a better life. So I don't blame them at all. Zero resentment, like zero ill feelings. Like, I love them, and like, I'm happy that they did what they did.
I have this. Do you believe that, like, so there's so much going through my mind? Like, do you
Okay.
believe in like familial or generational curses?
As a Christian, yeah, because the Bible talks about it.
Because it kind of looks like that if you look at our family, doesn't it? Like for example, the women. Like I don't. I'm not talking ill of the family, but this is just
Yeah.
how things are, right? Um, Having children with multiple different men.
Hmm.
It's it's throughout the whole entire family.
But you also have to understand that they were people are in certain people are in certain positions in life where sometimes you don't have options, right? You just if you're in a crunch and like somebody wants to take care of you sometimes, and it's like, okay, like, you kind of seek shelter or whatever, right? And then things happen.
Mm.
So sometimes people are in bad positions in life, and then things happen. But talking like about, like, I do believe in, like, that there are, like, generational family curses, that, like I said, sometimes one person has to break, and sometimes people pray for that as well. Like, people pray to break generational curses. Like, I do believe in that. If Yeah, to answer your question.
Or even mothers leaving their children behind. Hearing that story sounds awfully an awful lot familiar, you know. um,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it happened to me. Like,
Yeah.
but a bit later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did happen. Um, but my mom, you should talk to my mom. She has a heart. Have you heard the story about when Oma and Opa went to
Left
visit
her.
her at
Oh,
Albina?
yeah.
Yeah, they left her
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was. They were like, they told her, "Oh, we'll meet you after school," and she runs home excited. She falls, hurts her knee. She gets back to her aunt's house, and they're gone.
Yeah.
It's little heartbreaking stories like that. It's
Oh, yeah.
freaking yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. 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 Like, I don't know. We might have to talk to our family, but like, hey, we're starting this podcast, and it's starting off
Yeah.
pretty spicy, and there's a lot of things that happen in our life. I don't know if you're okay with us talking about it, but I feel like the world needs to know that
Families aren't perfect.
families aren't perfect. You're correct. That, and just think about this, right?
Mm.
Despite of all that has happened,
Yeah.
if we are all together at Republic or somewhere for a party,
Mm.
it doesn't feel like all of this craziness has happened, because everybody's so happy
Yeah.
to hang with each other, love on each other,
Mm.
eat good food, play music, dance, play games. I don't know if you have a different experience than
No.
that,
No.
right?
It's
But
it's it's amazing. It's one of my
yeah,
favorite things. That's what I miss a lot about Suriname.
yeah,
Spending time with the family, going
yeah,
swimming, partying. Like, it's
yeah,
just they know how to enjoy life, celebrate, and like nobody has any hard feelings. Not for
no,
long, anyway. They
yeah.
don't last long.
But I will say, like I said, as a child, it messed me up. There's a lot of things that messed me up. That's one of the main reason I wasn't able to sustain a good relationship with women for a long period of time, because I didn't know how to love people. Like, I didn't know how to accept love. I didn't know how to react to love, if that makes sense. And I've always in my head was like, you know what, we're just gonna date for a little bit, and you're just gonna leave me anyways.
You were thinking that.
Yeah, all my relationships that failed, it's like, I was 50% in, 50% in, not even 50 sometimes, right? I was like, oh, you're just gonna bounce anyways. Because dude, I had zero self-value. Like I didn't feel like I was worth anything.
I was the
And
opposite,
then
you know.
what do you mean?
Well, what I mean is when I like so this is actually something I wrote down for the today's discussion.
Okay.
My parents, they weren't very intimate when I was a kid, so I don't feel like there weren't a lot of hugs and stuff. So it wasn't. I didn't feel like there was much love. And my mom cheated on my dad, and so there wasn't much love in the house. Um, so and my parents were almost never there. So my
Yeah.
mom partied a lot, and my dad worked a lot. So I always felt like my going outside to all these different girls was, oh, I there's no love at home, so I got so much love to give
Yeah,
elsewhere.
yeah, yeah,
So when I was maybe dating two or three girls at the same time, I always felt like, oh, I love them all. You know, I have enough love to give to them all. Un- Until it got too
Okay.
overwhelming, of course, because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're talking to so many girls at once,
Yeah. It's not
it's too much. No.
sustainable. It's not sustainable. I mean, I regret how I acted. Um,
Yeah.
at that age, there's so many relationships that I've just ruined because I was just a horrible person. And I'm not making any excuses, because my mom left me and there was no love at home. Like I'm not trying to make those excuses because
You're also a kid. You can't
yeah,
blame a child for how
yeah,
they were. You know,
yeah,
you don't know anything. You
yeah,
all you know is how life is.
yeah,
You see your older brothers, they're
yeah,
like that. They like women. You know, you
yeah,
think, oh, that's all women are. You know,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. Maybe you see your cousins. They're doing the same thing.
yeah, yeah,
That's just how it was to
yeah,
me. That's what I
yeah,
was saying. Like you guys were my example.
yeah.
You
Oh.
guys treated women like that. I, you know, it's just, that's
Yeah,
how it was to
yeah,
me back then.
yeah. It's, and you grow up and then you realize like, okay, no, like we have to be better, and then we have to be better examples, because now we have like 16, 17, 18-year-old nephews, and I see them on Facebook and I see the things that they're interested in and like, and I was like, oh gosh. It's like if only you knew that that's just an empty it's just it's an empty, what's it called, road ahead. It's there's
Not
no
fulfilling.
it's not fulfilling. You think it is, and then you realize that you're older and it's like just been wasting my time. Um, but yeah, it's sad that I I remember, when when we were at Quata,
Mm.
and then you I never thought about it that way. I never thought that you were going through the things you were going through, because to me it's like at least he still has both of his parents. And I kind of envy that a little bit sometimes. Like your parents were still together, but they technically weren't together, right?
No.
Like so just, I always thought like, man, like, he's so lucky, right?
You
Like,
see it from the outside.
yeah, 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 yeah. He's like so lucky to have two people in the same house that comes home from work. And I was like, man, I wish I had that. But some days it's like, or you think about it, it's like, no, just because it seems a specific way doesn't mean it is, if that makes sense.
Mm.
I have to go. Oh no, you could go.
But you have to go?
No, 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 no. I was gonna say something. I said I have to go off topic real quick,
Okay, yeah, go
but
on, go
no, no, no. You could finish your thought.
on. No, 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 it's okay. Wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna. You remember? Do you remember our late night Burger King trips, 2012?
Oh, yeah, were they late at night?
Yeah, they were like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Okay, so
Man,
For
that grilled chicken burger. Do you know how much I miss that? They don't sell that here, you know?
they don't.
No. Oh,
For
yeah. Is it?
anybody for everybody who's listening that did not grow up in Suriname. So we lived in Para. Para is what, about an hour 45 minute
Yeah.
with traffic drive to the city. Now the bus stops driving at 9 o'clock at night. All right, so you cannot get a bus from Para to the city. So this guy would, sometimes we could call a taxi, take a taxi, because I was broke. He had a little bit more money sometimes, because like I was broke. He's like, hey Miguel, you want to have Burger King? I was like, yeah, let's go have Burger King, right? So we would call a taxi, take a taxi to Lely Dorop, which was like 15 SRD, I think.
Hmm.
Then we take a payout to the city, and then you walk to Burger King from there. I would get like a quad stack. I remember the
Oh
first time I
yeah.
had that quad stack. You remember?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. I think Burger King closed at like 12 or something like that. We would have that, we would eat it, walk back, take a bus to Lady Doro, and then take a taxi back home. This happened like at least like once every 2 weeks or something like
Freaking
that.
hell.
Oh my goodness. I was thinking about that the other day. I was laying in bed. I was like, man, it's just such a simple thing, but it brought
Yeah.
so much happiness.
Do you know how
Oh.
fat I got in that little year I was there? Oh my god. It was all that Burger King.
Oh,
Oh,
oh. But yeah, sometimes I still listen to that one song. I don't know if you remember that FIFA 12. There was a German song,
what's it called?
and ik ben so first dank or something like that, and you would hate it because I would play it on repeat. It was such a good song.
Oh, you'll
Um,
have to send that to me.
yeah, 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 yeah. I thought about that. I think about that a lot actually.
We were playing a
Because
lot of FIFA
yeah,
on a
do you remember?
well, it was
Was,
we had
this
a
is the weird.
PS2 first, and then I got the PS3.
Yeah, I think you got it from Linden. I
Yeah,
think you bought it from Linden.
didn't even give me any discount.
Hey, that's how you do business,
Yeah.
man.
Uh,
Yeah.
do you know
But
that to buy that, Dewena gave me $100 that she got for her birthday off her dad.
oh dang,
Yeah, that's
she must have
bad.
been.
Is
She must have really loved you to give her birthday money.
yeah.
How are you? How did you deal with that? But I don't know if you want to talk about that, but how was that?
Um. Yeah, I can talk about it. I was devastated. Um. uh, like you. So for some backstory, I was with her in that time about 2012, and then we broke up because I was a loser. Quit going to school, didn't have a job, so came back. My parents brought me back to England, and then I had a job for about a year, and then I started doing what I'm doing now, becoming a marine
Mhm.
engineer. But she was a heavy part of that, like because I felt so disgusted by myself the way I was. She was a big
Mhm.
motivation to make something of myself. I was like 23 at the time, 24. So I was a year into my training, 3 year training. I think it was 2015
Mhm.
when it happened,
Yeah.
and her sister messaged me and told me, and obviously all the things on Facebook started popping up, and
Yeah.
I just remember just breaking down, just crying.
Yeah.
Um, I had a friend here at the time down the road. I went to him, told him, and we just got wasted. Just got wasted. Uh, but yeah, it was really it was pretty horrible. I mean, she wasn't even 23. I don't think when it happened.
Yeah. So
Um,
just for context, like for the people who don't know the story, like he was dating a girl and she they broke up and then she ended up passing away later in life. So yeah.
yeah. I wrote a letter to her parents
Mm-hmm.
telling them how Um, it was always my intention to ask her later. Once I'd become something, to
Yeah,
ask her out again. And that she meant a lot to me. She did a lot um for my life, as in to get me where I am today. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So while I wasn't like that was my turning point, a little to get to become
yeah.
something, because I was a loser.
You
Um,
know, yeah. No, you could finish your thought. My brain sometimes goes.
but when I went to Suriname the last time, 2019, her dad actually asked to see me. So I went to see him in his office, and he told me the story about how it happened.
Yeah,
And they tried their best. Like, it was a
yeah.
freak accident. It's just she was just sitting there waiting to go home. They were
Mm,
about to leave in about 15 minutes. Um, and then they tried
yeah.
everything to get her out, and it's too late.
It was too late.
Yeah. So it's yeah. Uh,
Mm. To kind of piggyback off that topic about, like how you did she break up with you, or was it like you guys talked about it and it was like, hey, I don't think we should be doing this anymore? Or if she was just like, I don't think I want to be with you anymore. Do you remember?
well, when a girl starts acting like she
Different.
doesn't care about you anymore,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But you're
yeah.
still pushing, you're still trying, you're trying everything to still be, you know, sweet and good to
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
but you know something's wrong.
yeah.
And then one day, it, I just had enough. I was like, maybe we should just break up.
Yeah,
And she was like, maybe we should. And then
yeah,
that was it.
yeah,
From that day on, it was like
yeah.
we still hung out a bit, but it was over.
I was gonna say, like, I think more men should realize that women want security, right? Like,
Yeah.
most women, they don't, most good women doesn't need you to have everything, but she needs you to have potential, right? Saying like, okay, he might not have anything right now, but he's working towards something. And I could see that he's working towards something. And at that time, you didn't
No.
really have, I remember you even like, I think you cussed me out one time. You didn't cuss me out, but you were like, because I was trying to talk to you and kind of like motivate you a little bit, and you were like, I don't need this S right now, and then you just walked away. It was like we were in the house at
Yeah.
Ray's Steak.
Really?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I understood that you were going through stuff, right? And I was trying to tell you like, hey, but you kind of need to do something. You kind of need to do something. And you were like, you know what? I don't need your S right now. And then you just walked away. And I was like, boy,
You idiot! You should have slapped me.
boy. No, but
Oh,
I've learned sometimes you just need to give people their space, man. Sometimes you just need to leave people be. People need to work through things sometimes, and you shouldn't always be on them like that. You just need to let them go and do their stuff a little bit, and
and
then,
quite often, if it's someone that you like, some family,
mhm,
you're not gonna listen to them.
no,
Like, my mom. Like, this is an example. My mom, she used to be really good at pool, right? She tried to
mhm.
teach me. Couldn't learn anything from her. But if it's a stranger telling me the
Yeah.
exact same thing that she just told me, I'll do it.
You know why?
Why?
Because you know their weaknesses, you know their flaws, you know that they're not that great, right? So you're like, okay, you teach me.
Mm-hmm.
I know your dirty laundry. You remember my relationship in 2012?
Yeah.
You told me to take it on the chin when she dumped me. You're like, yeah, sometimes you guys gotta take it on the chin. You take it on the chin, man.
That's some wise words.
I know, right? And I
But you
just
didn't
couldn't,
take it,
I
didn't
couldn't
you?
let it go. And she blocked me too. She's like, I don't have time for this drama. Like, once somebody made up their mind, like, like, hey, just best to let them go. I don't know
Was
what
it
you're.
was that hang up from former relationship? Like, why? Because you were saying before how when you were younger you didn't you weren't fully committed to the relationship.
Yeah.
Was that one of your first relationships where you actually were? fully committed. Is that why you were crazy?
You know, and I talked to my wife about this. She knows. Um, when you don't have anything, you have nothing. You have nothing, right? You don't have anything. Because at that point, I don't even know if I was going to school, too. We were both losers, dude.
Yeah.
We're just playing video games all day. That's all we were doing.
We used to play
With
football,
and yeah, but like we weren't doing anything meaningful in life. We weren't working on self-development. Like we weren't working on anything. I
but
don't know about you, but yeah,
that wasn't the thing back then.
that's true.
But yeah, we were losers.
Yeah. Yeah, right? So I didn't have anything. And she made she was that one thing. I don't know why. She was that one person that made everything okay. Everything okay. Just knowing that that person loved me, I didn't basically need anything else. I was good. I was like, this is all I need. I can die a happy man. All of my no, like
23. Life is
I
good.
know.
I have a
Yeah, yeah.
girlfriend. That's
He loves me. And
yeah.
it's just stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know why. I don't know why she was the one. I don't know why you don't choose who you love. Your heart doesn't choose. I have zero explanation. I consider myself somebody who thinks a lot, and I wonder why things happen the way they do, and you know, the probability of things happening, and I just don't know why. Like I remember seeing her, and I was like, man, this, you know, like this person is. Also, I think because we had like the same backstory, so she could relate to my
Oh,
upbringing.
okay.
You know, family trauma, being abandoned, being left behind. But two broken people are not good for each other.
So broken people, red flags. You shouldn't date them like depressed. Any mental if they're not willing to work on themselves.
Yeah,
Because there are people that don't want to change. They're
yeah,
happy being miserable or whatever. But as long as you work on it, I don't see why you two not that relationship,
yeah,
but why
yeah,
two broken people couldn't help each other if they're pushing
yeah.
each other. Because I'd say my girlfriend and I, we have been through both had very, our parents were divorced and
Mm,
um maybe not as present as they should have been. But obviously, parents go through their own stuff.
yeah,
But yet here we are, and this is probably the best relationship I've ever been in because we both believe in each other. We're both trying to work. We're working on ourselves as well as each other and the
yeah,
relationship at the same time.
yeah,
So obviously, you can't be there for each other if you're not working on yourself.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it is
yeah.
possible, but
I,
if you two
I,
were, it's
yeah.
still broken, and that's what you know.
I also have a rule for that.
Yeah,
I think that if trying to love somebody or help somebody that doesn't want to be loved or helped by you is wasting your time. Like if somebody doesn't want to be loved by you, somebody doesn't want to be helped by you, they don't
yeah,
want it, and you're still there nagging, you're just wasting your time. And
yeah,
it's hard, it's rough. I don't want to say it like that, but that's in the end, that's time wasted. Because the person who does not want to be helped will not be helped.
mm,
Um, and that was me. I was trying to love this person who just didn't want to be loved by me anymore. Right? Like she had enough. I was insecure because I was so afraid of losing her because I know that I wasn't, I know that I had basically no value, right? Like I know that I wasn't anything. I was a loser and I had her and she was very beautiful and desired by other people. And I was like, I don't want to lose her because this is all I have. And then every step this person does or whatever, you question everything. And then it's just too much trauma and too much stress. So I don't even blame, as an adult, I don't even blame this person for not wanting to be with me at the time. Like I would not want thinking about back. Like
yeah.
I would not want to be with me at that time. So I don't blame this person. But just like I said, man, I love this person and she made everything okay. And then I lost her, and then I was like, okay, life sucks. Like 2004, 13, 14, man, was rough. Like I don't even know the year, but then after that, I had another failed relationship. But it was all me, man. I was just so insecure. It was not good, and that's why I've kind of developed all of these rules. Like men are allowed to be emotional, but don't make emotional decisions because that's another recipe for disaster, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I've learned, and they were necessary pain in my life to help me navigate life as an adult now, knowing that, okay, you know what? You've been through the worst of the worst. It's gonna be okay, man. You just need to keep working, need to keep believing. And obviously I have to come back to my faith. Like my faith in Christ is just one thing that helps me. There's so much wisdom in the Bible too. Just reading it, it's like a good way to navigate through life. So that helps me a lot. And then my wife is amazing. She she's just amazing. Like I don't even know how to explain it. Like some days I don't even know how that woman fell in love with me. I was like like she's so amazing. Um
How did you
she's
guys
just
meet? I don't think I've ever heard that story.
so it was a volleyball. So 2015, I was working with your mom at Care for You. I
Mm.
was helping in the office. And I was still playing volleyball. And there was this international tournament. And I hear somebody yelling in the distance. She was yelling in English, like, I got it or pass or whatever. I don't know. They were playing a game. And this is not even, I'm not even lying. I I look up, I turned to my right, and I saw her. And it was like a movie. It was like she was in slow motion. Like just moving her hair and just like trying to pass the
Yeah.
ball. And I was like, she was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Off the bat, I was like, man, that is a beautiful woman. And I started asking around, like, who's this person? Because I've never seen her before. It's like, oh, she plays for this team. She's an American, but we don't know much about her. And I
You're
got
doing a reconnaissance.
yeah, 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 yeah. But then I got chikungunya, I think. You remember the mosquito disease? It was kind of like Zika.
Oh, was this the one that was making pregnant babies deformed?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I got that, and dude, it messes your joints up. Like it's painful to just sit or stand up and walk.
Yeah.
And I was playing an international tournament, which we ended up getting second place, by the way, and got silver. Um, I think it was Jamaica, Trinidad, a bunch of countries were there playing.
Oh.
Yeah, and dude, I was sick, and I was like, I'm not one, I'm not missing this game, and two, I need to see this first because it was the last day of the tournament. So I need to know, I need to find out who this girl is. And as I walk into the gym, she's sitting on the bench to my right, and she's reading a Harry Potter book. And I was like, okay, man, it's now or never, And whenever I tell this story, she was like, but you fell in love with my brain, right? Because my wife doesn't like the whole, like the whole me telling her of how beautiful she is. She was like, I want you to see my better qualities. Um, but she was sitting and reading a book, and I just I just said, excuse me, can I ask you a question? She's like, yeah. I was like, a stupid line to us, like, why are you reading a book at a volleyball tournament or something like that? Um, And she's like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for my team to play." And then I said, "I'm Miguel." I introduced myself, and then straight off the bat, I told her, "I was like, hey, I just want to tell you that you're very beautiful. Just want to tell you." And she was like, "Oh, thank you." But she was just like, she said the way you approached me was respectful. It wasn't abrasive or whatever. It was just like a question, like, why are you reading a book why are you not watching the game? She's like,
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for my team to play. asked her what book she was reading, and then by the end of our conversation, I asked her if I could have her telephone number, and then she's like, "Nope, I don't know you, so I don't want to give you my. We could
The
be
frick?
Facebook." Yeah,
Okay, okay.
she was an American living in a foreign country, like she just doesn't want to give people
Hmm.
her telephone number. Be like, I don't know who you are. So we
Yeah,
became Facebook friend, and we just from then on started talking every day, started asking questions, and it moved rather quick though. Like I think we got engaged within the first year or something like that. I don't
really?
really know. Yeah, yeah. She's gonna be mad at me because I don't know the dates, but it was it was, it was rather quick. So yeah, we became friends, and then her friend sent me an invite to one of the school activities that they were doing, and yeah, and then I told her about my past.
You
I was
told
like,
her
hey,
everything.
yeah, told her everything. I was like, listen, I'm really interested in you. I like you a lot. I think you're a great person. Like, she was just so full. She wanted everything to be fair. Every person deserves this exact same happiness. Everybody, like she wanted everything to be fair for everybody. She's just such a gentle spirit. Like, no hatred in her heart whatsoever. She just wants all the good in the world. Everybody should just, I don't even know how to explain how kind her heart is. And that was the most beautiful thing about her. When I truly got to know her, I was like, man, like this person is just so pure, so loving, so caring. Like this person just wants the world to be a better place. And here I am, this horrible person with a horrible past. Like, what the heck, right? I don't deserve this. um and then I talked to her. I was like, hey, I have a son. I failed relationships. If you go, my Facebook history at the time, just you
Breakup
know,
after breakup.
yeah, yeah, and just my language, even
Do you
speaking
remember Facebook
vulgar.
used to notify everyone? Miguel broke up with.
Oh,
You
yeah,
remember that?
yeah.
It doesn't do it anymore, luckily,
No,
but it
no,
used to. Frickin' hell.
yeah, yeah. That's how we met, man. It was a volleyball tournament. You know,
That's
the thing that I loved playing, I met the love of my life, and she was a volleyball player as well. A lot of people sleep on my wife, man. They don't know the athlete she is. Like a lot of people don't know.
Are
Like
you
she's a
saying
beast.
she played football,
She
soccer,
played
as the
soccer,
Americans say,
yeah, yeah. She played
and
soccer. She
volleyball?
played volleyball,
Frickin' hell.
yeah. Yeah, she was a setter.
Does she beat you up?
I think that if I don't see it coming, because we kickbox. She's my sparring partner. Yeah, she holds mitts for me and stuff like that. I feel like if I don't see a punch coming, I think she could give me a good 10-minute nap. Yeah,
Frickin' hell.
yeah. She has some serious power.
Hmm. Are you guys the
But yeah,
same height?
yeah. I think I think if she wears like shoes or something, she'd be taller than me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think we're the same height. Yeah, we're gonna have some giants if we ever have kids.
When?
When we have kids, true. But yeah, it's been an adventure, man. It's the second part of life is interesting because, like I said, I wouldn't do it any other way. If I could go back and redo my life with everything that happened, I wouldn't. I don't know about you, but it shaped me to the person that I am today. The person that made like even in my 30s, like my early 30s. I'm 34, 35. Like even when I was 30 years old, I was still like pretty much an idiot. Like it's only been these last 2, 3 years that I've really started focusing what, like if I were to die tomorrow, like what good did I bring to the world? Like what
Hmm.
good did I bring for my family? What legacy am I leaving behind? Not just to be known as somebody, but just that I could say, like, you know what, okay, I'm good. I'm good. Like I could, you know, actually left some value behind. And there's a lot of things that I regret, obviously, that I did and how I lived life. But if I could go back, I don't know if I would want it any different because it shaped me, right? I don't know, like we talked about this earlier, I don't know what drives people to go one way or the other. I don't know what drives one person to like cower away and then just sink into depression, and what boosts somebody to be like, I want to elevate myself. Because it's the same origin story, right? Like, so I don't know. I'm happy that I went the other way because I could have gone, you know, those nights when I laid in bed and said, you know, I don't want to be here anymore. I could have gone, that could have been my last thought, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, you know, if it's God, if it's my mom praying for me. I don't
Both.
know. Yeah. You know, so there's a lot that I don't understand, that I don't have to. I'm just happy that I was able to navigate life the way I did, I guess. And I'm excited for this second chapter or this second part of my life as a somebody who's pushing 40, you know.
It'll be this. It'll be good. It's exciting.
I think so.
I think it's
Yeah.
exciting to see where we both end up.
Yeah. And I heard this quote, I think it was David Goggins. He said, "You'll never encounter a hater that does better than you. Never. Somebody who's doing life better than you
Mm.
doesn't have time to hate unless you're either competition or a potential threat,
Mm. Like that.
right? So, dude, I have blocked out like dude, I don't even care anymore. Like I'm just too busy with trying to become whatever I'm destined to be, or not destined, focused on becoming, you know, better version of myself. I just, dude, if you have time to poke at me, dude, you don't have enough things to do. Expect people to be people. People are selfish. People are hateful. People are loving,
Mm-hmm.
caring. You know, like people are all of these things, and they're capable of love, but also capable of being mean, hurting you, right? So wherever I go, I just expect people to be people. So whatever happens, happens because I expect them to be people. You know,
Okay.
um, two, nobody's gonna believe in you until you make it, right? That doesn't mean that you don't have family that are behind you and stuff. I'm talking about the majority of people, right? They just they're not gonna believe in you until you make it, until you show them something like, oh, and they're like, oh man, you know, I really know, I knew you would have, I you know, coming up,
Yeah.
like I knew it, like you had that something, man, you had that something, and then like while you were struggling, they're like, oh, look at that fool, right? For a period of time in your life, you have to be okay being alone, even if it's a short period of time. But in the period of your time in your life, you're gonna have to be okay with being alone for a little bit, because that'll help you build character and build your thoughts and kind of help you become whatever it is, right? You have to be okay with a little bit of isolation and isolating yourself from people, because sometimes you get influenced, not even sometimes, all the time. You get influenced whether you know it or not. You get influenced by your parents from birth. You get influenced by the worldview, news, music videos, like everything, and you don't even know that you're being influenced. So I've learned to also go in my thoughts and like, why do I believe what I believe? Why? Like, is it because of my parents taught me, or is it because of what I see in the world? Right? So that's basically how I kind of try to navigate life. I try to stick by those three. You know, like I expect people to be people, and I know that nobody's gonna believe in me until I make it. So I might as well not even look for their recognition right now. Recognition will come when I've proved not proven, but like when I've built something, right? Then they'll come and be like, hey, I knew you're going to make it. I believed in you, like and stuff like that. So